Enzo Recto, kalaban ang katiwalian at kasinungalingan, kakampi sa katotohanan at kabutihan.
ICC prosecutor na nandito sa Pilipinas, kumakalap pa raw ng maraming ebidensya laban dito kay Digong Duterte. Bakit ko po ito nasabi mga kabunyog? Dahil po mga kabunyog, kung inyo pong malalaman, sa interview ni Bato de la Rosa, mayroon raw na mga taga-ICC ang nandito sa Pilipinas at tinatakot raw po yung mga retired na pulis para umamin at ilaglag raw sila ni na Duterte. Well, pinatotohanan naman ito ng isang representante ng Pilipinas doon sa ICC na si Attorney Butuyan, pero yung aligasyon ni Bato na pamimilit. Yon ang hindi kumpirmado mga kabunyog. Ang tanging totoo lang po dito ay yung mga prosecutor ng ICC ay hindi pa rin tumitigil, kumalap ng maraming ebidensya laban dito kay Digong. Anyway, para po sa malinaw pang impormasyon hinggil sa balitang ito, panoorin po natin ang interview kay Attorney Joel Butuyan.
Okay, now let's talk about these retired police officers. Senator De La Rosa was claiming that some retired police officers were approached to actually testify against him and Duterte. What is the process on getting witnesses at this point? Ano po ba ang proseso? Dahil ang ICC, hindi naman po ito pangkaraniwang korte.
Karen, until ma-confirm yung charges sa ICC, ang ICC prosecutor continues its investigation. So as we speak, I do not discount the fact that they may still be interviewing witnesses, although I have no personal knowledge at all, no, whether they are doing that, no, because the OTP conducts its proceedings confidentially and without any notice to other parties, no. So po pwedeng nangyayari yan that they're still gathering evidence. In fact, they can still file additional charges in addition to the crime against humanity of murder that has been sustained in the application for a warrant of arrest. Po pwedeng ma-expand yan, po pwedeng ma-include ang torture, ang illegal detention, ang rape, and other forms of sexual violence. Po pwede pa rin yan.
Oo. Okay. Now, the ICC also recently approved the delay of disclosure of witnesses in the Duterte case. What is the effect of the ICC decision?
It actually gives the prosecutor more time to gather additional witnesses and to also install security and protection measures for the witnesses that they are contemplating on presenting during the trial. Because the prosecutor has the obligation to disclose the identities of witnesses to the counsel of Mr. Duterte and to Mr. Duterte himself by July 1. So before July 1, before they disclose, they should have security and protection measures for these witnesses.
Oo. And I wanted to ask you, in past ICC hearings, no? So the charges against Duterte is out of the four crimes that the ICC handles, ang kanya is crimes against humanity. So una, ang tanong, may limitasyon ba ng physical witnesses? Do they have to physically go to the ICC, go to the trial and testify?
Generally, they have to go to the trial, Karen, although may exceptions. They can testify through video conferencing, through audio conferencing, no, depending on their situations, no. And in fact, for witnesses who are at risk, no, meron actually yung option na i-blur yung mga mukha nila when they testify. And then pati yung kanilang boses ay iibahin, no? And their identities will not be disclosed to the public. They would be disclosed to the defense counsel and to Mr. Duterte himself, but their identities could be withheld from the public.
Okay, so in the spirit of what the defense says fairness, no, is nung una they were requiring that yung witnesses would have some sort of identification. They asked for national ID, which is ridiculous because we don't all have it, right? Right? Or a passport. Not everybody, not all Filipinos would have that either. Pero ang punto nila, ayaw naman nila na parang hindi yun tunay, halimbawa na involve, right, in the alleged EJ case, or hindi ito pamilya na namatayan, hindi ito masasabing tunay, 'di ba, na nasa drug war, na or peke ang identities. How then would you verify the identity of the witnesses?
Karen, sa puntong ito, yung mga nire-require ng IDs and other forms of identification, ito yung mga victims, no? And yung mga victims, at this point, ang kanilang karapatan pa lang ay mag-participate sa proceedings. It's not even an issue of reparations kasi yung reparations will happen after conviction.
Matagal pa yan. Matagal pa yan.
Pero on the issue of
participation
muna, whether they can participate in the proceedings through a counsel of their choice, yun pa lang yung didinigin ng PTC and eventually ng trial chamber, no? And I think may recognition talaga na nasa kagaya nating bansa na maraming mahihirap, talagang lahat hindi may ID, no? Pribilehiyo nga yung may ID. Lalo na sa ating mga mahihirap na mga lugar, depressed communities, talagang challenge yung magkaroon ng ID. And meron namang alternative na ginawa yung ICC, yung tinatawag na BPRS office nila, na dalawang tao will certify that this person claiming to be a victim is the same person who is claiming to be the victim. So, meron po yung proseso na yun.
Okay, but the numbers, the estimate is there were 30,000 people, 25 to 30,000 people who were victims of Duterte's drug war. So paano po yun? Syempre hindi yung buong 30,000. But let's face it, this is a case eh. So the prosecution has to build that a crime against humanity was committed. So you'd really have to verify the numbers, diba? That the deaths were en masse. So how will the prosecution build and identify the 20 to 30,000 individuals? Kasi you have to build a story, at least a backgrounder for each and every one.
No. At Karen, hindi ito kasi paglilitis ng bawat murder na nangyari. So, hindi mo kailangang i-prove and hindi mo kailangang ilagay as participant yung lahat ng biktima ng 30,000 murder incidents, no? In fact, dun nga sa Rome Statute, kahit na isang murder incident lang, no? For as long as you can prove that this was part of a widespread and systematic plan to commit crime against humanity, po pwede na yun, no? So, dun sa may application for warrant of arrest ng prosecutor, 43 murder incidents lang yung kanilang inihain, no, to prove that there was really a widespread and systematic plan to commit crime against humanity sa ating bansa.
So in other words, pwede na gawing pruweba yung policy itself, declarations coming from Duterte's mouth, interviews, announcements, even the administrative orders, pwede yun.
Tama yun. In fact, nakalagay lahat yun dun sa may application for warrant of arrest. Nakalagay dun yung mga video, although hindi naka-specify, pati yung mga statements, and iba pang mga pati yung memorandum circular ng Tokhang, yung Oplan double barrel, ay isang ebidensya rin, no, that there was really a state policy.
Okay. Well, given you are an ICC accredited lawyer, Attorney Butuyan, sa totoo lang, no, eto pa lang tayo ilang buwan na, nandun pa lang tayo sa ICC approving to delay disclosure of the witnesses. Sa totoo lang, ilang taon ang inaasahan bago magkaroon ng desisyon? Because you have to remember, right, the defense is also making appeals, right, for an interim release, ibalik siya muna sa Pilipinas. Alam mo yun, ang dami rin nilang motions na fina-file ang depensa. So, kailangan dinggin din yun. So, all in all, with the delays, etc., what do you think, ilang taon to?
Karen, noong Abril, after maaresto si Mr. Duterte, yung pre-trial chamber nag-set ng deadlines, no? For the disclosure, for the submission of this and that, and so far nafa-follow yon. And I believe that by July 1 or July 4, yung documents containing the charges, ito na talaga yung final na charges ng prosecutor ay maifa-file. And by September 23, mangyayari yung confirmation of charges. That will only take several days. And after that, ang estimate is mga 2 to 3 months mag-uumpisa yung trial. Ngayon, compared sa mga ibang kaso sa ICC, ang charge sa atin ay isa lang, crime against humanity of murder, no? Unless na i-expand. Doon sa mga previous na mga kaso ng ICC na tumagal ng 7 to 8 years, multiple yung mga charges, no? Saka ito yung mga tipong in the context of war, in the context of a civil war, in the context of an armed conflict na talagang magulo, no? Sa atin talagang walang war, walang giyera, walang armed conflict. It was just the case of the government, no, employing the powers of the state to abuse and commit impunity against its own citizens, no. So sa tingin ko mas mabilis yung sa atin. In fact, in one interview, it's the former ICC Judge Raul Pangalangan estimated na mga 2 to 3 years, no, na matatapos yung paglilitis sa ating sa kaso sa Pilipinas.
Oo, so posibleng 3 years, no? Lagay mo na 3 years.
Yes.
Posibleng lagay mo a length of 3 years. So Duterte is how old today? I believe he's 81.
80?
Yes. Oo.
Yes.
So in 3 years, there will be a decision. Now, how does this affect the case that the ICC prosecutor had to step aside for sexual misconduct?
Yung ICC prosecutor, si Karim Khan, is actually the overall supervision officer of the entire office of the prosecutor. Ang office of the prosecutor has about almost 400, 500 officers, employees, no? So madami yan. And yung team na nakatutok sa Pilipinas ay team that is supervised by Deputy Prosecutor Nyang. No, so in terms of personnel, dun sa may legal team that's devoted and dedicated to the Philippines, wala namang pagbabago. Even with the leave that has been taken by Prosecutor Karim Khan. So tingin ko wala namang delay na mangyayari.
Okay. On that note, anything you want to add, Attorney Butuyan?
Tutukan ho natin itong pangyayari sa ICC kasi this is unprecedented, no? For the first time, ang isang leader ng ating bansa who has committed despicable crimes is being tried, no? And we hope that the trial will be concluded expeditiously so that the families who have been waiting for justice, no, who have been waiting for reparations would see the day that they would really see justice and reparations in the killings of their loved ones.
Bunyog, bunyog, halikan na kasama ka. Bunyog, kapag buklod ay may pag-asa. Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao, isa ang pananaw. Sa bagong Pilipinas ang bunyog, isip sumisigaw.